Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're excited and happy to have you with us today. We want to thank you for joining us. This is the time of year when we take a moment to celebrate graduating seniors who have been involved with the Markkula Center and all they've accomplished. So, as you all know, this has been a strange and extraordinary year. Students had to pivot, of course, to home learning, and I give all of our students great credit for adapting to that and succeeding under really bizarre and unusual circumstances. And also give them credit for the wonderful work they did for us here at the center, despite being in the middle of a pandemic. So we're here today to honor some of the students who've been involved with the center and who are graduating seniors. This is a special group because you may not know, but for each position we have, whether it's an intern or a fellow, somebody working with our communications team, we get many more applications than we're able to accommodate. So the students you see today are really among the very best students, and we want to celebrate them and their accomplishments. Our goal is to try to increase that capacity over the years so we can accept more students, but we're very proud of the students that have been working with us this year. And you'll be hearing from a few of those students from each program area in just a few minutes. First off, I want to announce the graduating seniors who've received special awards from Santa Clara University. First is Abby Fafinsky, a Hackler Fellow who received the 2021 Niter Family Alumni Service Award. And what that does is it provides financial support to a graduate who's leaving SCU and going directly into a service program or project. So congratulations to Abby for that. Next up, Sahali Greenwood, a marketing communications intern, just received the Justin T. McCarthy Oratory Award for excellence in journalism from the College of Arts and Sciences. So congratulations to Sahali. And finally, we have Alex Kwan, who has been the Hansel Fellow at the center working with our healthcare ethics program. He is the recipient of the 2021 Nobly Medal, which is awarded to the male graduate judged to be outstanding in academic performance, personal character, school activities, and for their constructive contribution to the university. So well done, Alex. Great job and congratulations. So now we're going to hear, as I said, from some of our students and our program directors in each area who've been working with them, and a faculty member who works with us from philosophy are along with us today, and they're going to introduce them. We're going to start with Ann Skeet, our Senior Director of Leadership and Business Ethics.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ann Skeet. As Don mentioned, I work in the area of business and leadership ethics, and I'm presenting three of our graduating seniors, Matthew De Simone, Isabella Drakovich, and Max Heregida. And they have really had, as Don said, an incredibly unique experience doing their business ethics internships during the COVID year. Each one of them is placed in the ethics and compliance parts of companies, either at Intel or Adobe in the case of these students. And this year really offered them the opportunity to deepen their participation in community, both in the professional settings they were in and also here at Santa Clara. Isabella was able to participate in interviewing an author, our former executive director, for a book that he recently published. Max presented to our advisory council. And today you're going to hear from Matthew, who's going to tell you a little bit about the program.
All right, thank you, Anne, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew Desimoni, and I spent the last year interning with Intel's ethics and legal compliance team through the Markkula Center's Business Ethics Internship Program. So to kick things off, I'm just going to say some words about the program. The Markkula Center has built relationships with ethics and compliance professionals at a few companies in the Silicon Valley, including Intel, Cisco, and Adobe. And these companies offer SCU students an opportunity to have a year-long internship in ethics and compliance and learn about how major corporations infuse business ethics with their corporate cultures and live out their commitments to corporate social responsibility. So I think I can speak on behalf of the other business ethics interns when I say that it's a very rewarding and fascinating experience to play even a small role, but still a hands-on one in facilitating a corporate culture that truly prioritizes ethics and takes the concerns of stakeholders into account, especially at companies that are as big and global and influential as Intel and Adobe. The business ethics internship program really exemplifies SCU's commitment to its vision of building a more humane, just, and sustainable world, because in order for that vision to become a reality, it will be necessary for our corporate citizens to commit themselves to acting in an ethical manner. And this program prepares future business leaders to do just that. So we also meet with each other as business ethics interns on occasion to discuss our internships or current events and how they relate to applied ethics. And we have a LinkedIn page going for all the alumni of the program so that we can stay connected as a community of business ethics interns and alumni of the program. So all in all, the program has been a fantastic experience, and we're very grateful to the Markkula Center, SCU, and our corporate partners for the opportunity to learn about and contribute to business ethics in the corporate world.
Thank you. I'm here to talk about the Environmental Ethics Fellowship. My name is Brian Green. I'm the Director of Technology Ethics, and I've been working with the Environmental Ethics Fellows for quite a few years now. And this year we had a really interesting project. We had the Environmental Ethics Fellows working on specifically questions related to the pandemic and environmental ethics. And Taylor Ellis and Rebecca Poirier are our two graduates this year. We're very appreciative of the fantastic work that they've done. And I'd like to turn it over to Taylor to tell you a little bit more about the fellowship.
Thank you, Dr. Green. As you said, my name is Taylor Ellis, and I'm a senior at Santa Clara. And over the course of this year, I've been conducting interviews with especially thoughtful individuals that are employed by environmental groups or are heavily reflective, observant, and passionate about environmental change. I asked them to describe a situation in which the individual was outdoors and realized the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. And after speaking with these individuals, I crafted short stories for readers with the hopes of evoking empathy for the environment. I currently have 3 short stories on the Markkula Center website, and I'm finishing a 4th one before graduation. The other environmental ethics fellows are Rebecca Poirier and Mary Kleinsmith. And Rebecca is doing a really interesting project with infographics that comment on consumer habits that have evolved from COVID, such as the excessive use of harmful takeout boxes or the pollution of masks, with recommendations for limiting your negative environmental impact. In addition, Mary is working to provide a thorough analysis of the performance of ESG funds, which stand for environmental, social, and governance. And over the course of the pandemic, seeing how these funds have performed with the hopes of informing others on the attractiveness of these socially responsible investment funds. And the Environmental Ethics Fellowship is really important to me because it provided me with the ability to creatively weave my coursework together and interact with others to compile my narratives. I am extremely passionate about the environment, and the Environmental Ethics Fellowship provided me with the opportunity to stimulate this passion and contribute a collection of stories that I hope will be as valuable for others as it was for me. I want to thank all the people that allow me and all the other Markkula Center fellows and interns to pursue their passions. Thank you.
Next up is Aaron Bradfield, who's going to talk a little bit about Ethics Bowl.
Hi, my name is Erin Bradfield, and I'm a lecturer in the Department of Philosophy, and I coach the Ethics Bowl team. The Ethics Bowl is an intercollegiate applied ethics competition in which cases are ripped from the headlines stemming from issues featured in the media and debated by journalists, ethicists, academics, and the general public within the past year. This year's case is focused on systemic racism, protests in the time of COVID, mask mandates, mugshots in media, and end-of-life care, among other issues. Our students present oral arguments in response to a question posed on the competition day, not fully knowing in advance what that question will be, but using their preparation of the morally relevant facts of the case, as well as their team's ethical framework of choice. And of course, we try to think up and practice as many possible questions in advance as possible. Not only does the team present their argument, but they also respond to the opposing team's objections, as well as to judge questions. In return, they also provide objections known as commentary in Ethics Bowl parlance to the opposing team as well. Our team is Courtney Davis, Mohit Gandhi, Adam Gonzalez, Zachary Davis, and Leah Petronio. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Courtney Davis of Longview, Washington. Courtney was an essential member of our 2019 California Regional Championship team, taking home the win in Tempe, Arizona, as well as of our 2020 Nationals team that finished top 8 in the nation, which is incredible. And we traveled to Atlanta, Georgia for that competition. Courtney also helped prepare our 2020 squad for this year's California regional competition here at Santa Clara. She helped identify ethical issues of the cases and also provided commentary and judged questions. And she did it all for love of the game. So now let me turn it over to Courtney to speak about her Ethics Bowl experience. Without further ado, Courtney Davis.
Hi, so yes, I'm Courtney. Thank you, Dr. Bradfield. I joined the team my junior year, not really knowing much about Ethics Bowl. And then as Dr. Bradfield said, I helped this year's teams prepare for the California regional competition, which took place over Zoom, unfortunately. And I would say that Ethics Bowl was my favorite class that I took at Santa Clara, which would be true, but it really felt more like a club or an experience where you get to hang out with a bunch of people who are way smarter than you, con them into being your friends, and then you make a bunch of niche inside jokes about philosophers and take home big trophies, and it's a great time. And so when I competed, I was responsible for presenting the moral frameworks in our arguments, which helps us remain clear and systematic when we respond to questions. So I got really familiar with Kant and really familiar with Aristotle, and John Rawls, and even ran some util calculus, which if you like ethics, you know that's a joy. And I don't have like a whole lot of time, but I will say that Ethics Bowl really did change the way that I see the world. As Dr. Bradfield said, these cases are kind of ripped from the headlines. I can't read anything in the Times or in the Post or from any publication without thinking, all right, what would Kant say here? Are we treating people with dignity and respect? What contextual factors are going to be relevant for Aristotle in this case? John Rawls, veil of ignorance, how are we making the worst off in society better off, all of that stuff. And I think this is because you really do just cover such a wide range of topics. Dr. Bradfield listed a couple, we ran things, everything from like bot rights to discrimination in video games, to immigration, to racial profiling and mask wearing. It's just a huge range. And I think I'm almost out of time, but I also just want to give a shout out to Dr. Bradfield, who literally is the reason we're such a well-oiled machine. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much goes into preparing these teams for competition. And the reason we do so well is because of all the time and effort she puts into it. So with that, I will sign off and thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm David DeCoste. I'm the Director of Campus Ethics Programs at the Ethics Center, as well as Director of Religious and Catholic Ethics. It's really my privilege and joy to introduce the Hackworth Fellows from this year. The Hackworth Fellowship Program was established almost 20 years ago through a very generous endowed gift from Mike and Joan Hackworth, longtime supporters of the Ethics Center and Santa Clara University. It was really their vision that, of course, the study of ethics is essential, but ethics matters in life. So how does this cash out? in all these sort of different dimensions in which our students live and will be living and will be leaders in the future. And Mike and Joan established the fellowship in order to give our students an opportunity to engage ethics in an applied real-time context. This year, Ethics Fellows, Hackworth Fellows looked at media ethics, artificial intelligence, privacy and data, the virtue of hope, compassionate release, vaccines and marginalized communities, COVID and practices of SCU students, Facebook's oversight board, smart cities, ethics and job interviews, and how we talk to each other in these remarkably challenging times. Our graduating fellows this year are a wonderful group: Courtney Davis, Julian Dryman, Lily Evans, Abby Fafinsky, Alexandra George, Julia Jenik, and Vas Kumar. We will miss you all, but you've done wonderful work. And Lily Evans will be sharing a little bit about the fellowship. Lily is from Seattle, Washington, a major in political science and communication, and her fellowship project focused on ethics and media literacy for digital natives today. Lily, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. DeCoste, and hi, everyone. My name is Lily Evans. My time as a Hackworth Fellow gave me the opportunity to study the dominance of digital media and its effect on people's general understanding of and engagement with news and journalism, with a focus on the unique behavior of digital natives. The digital revolution expanded our ability to engage with and create media, and my final project amplifies the need to shift our application of ethical communication standards and media literacy skills to every participant in our collective media environment. I developed 3 separate online resources which offer tools to navigate online news and other types of content. My hope is that participants will come away feeling empowered to criticize and evaluate their own media consumption and expand their connection to the modern landscape. I chose to study journalism in the first place because I wanted to write stories that I wanted to read. Last spring, in the middle of the pandemic and the resurgence of discussion around systemic racism and injustice in the US, I felt extreme pressure to define my values, both as a journalist and a member of the public. Applying to the program gave me the opportunity to analyze media on a deeper level and challenged me to examine the industry's ethical code amidst these times. My mentor, Anita Varma, guided me to deconstruct the institutional limits of the current standards and ask the question, is the media truly fulfilling its role in public service for every person in American society? Throughout this process, I gained a closer attachment to reporting, and I observed an opportunity to infuse empathy in my own writing. I found that the best reporting does not omit compassion for the sake of objectivity, and it is with this focus that I hope to carry out my future work. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I'm Charles Binkley. I'm the Director of Bioethics at the Markkula Center, and I also direct the Healthcare Ethics Internship and the Hansel Fellowship. It's a real pleasure to be with you this afternoon. The Healthcare Ethics Internship has always grounded itself in its clinical rotations and the opportunity to put students in clinical settings with providers to see firsthand how ethics is applied in everyday situations as providers take care of patients. Because of COVID, we weren't able to do that. And so we had to find proxy experiences. What we've done during the past year is invite providers to come in and allow the interns and the fellow to have contact with the providers in the setting of class. These have been physicians, nurses, patients families, philosophers, ethicists from across the country. And one of the other features of the program this year has been that the students have had an opportunity to make contributions to the Markkula Center site. They've been able to write blogs of their own choosing to express their point of view and in order to develop their own skills, critical skills, as leaders in the field of healthcare ethics. It's with great pleasure that I introduced this year's class. And I really want to especially thank Dr. Margaret McLean, my predecessor, for recruiting such a great class. and also for having developed the program over the last couple of decades. Alex Kwan, you were introduced to Alex earlier. He was the Hansel Fellow this year. Alex is going to be going off to Harvard University in the fall to study bioethics for the year before going off to medical school. Alex turned down Cambridge University in favor of going to Harvard for his year of studying bioethics. The other interns, Jazzy Beans, Emma Brennan, Afton Burrell, Michael Cordova Wong, Noel DeToro, Christian Jimenez, Brendan Lawler, Caitlin Leung, Nicole McInerney, and Amelia Wheaton. And this afternoon, Nicole McInerney is going to be talking about her experience. Nicole is going to be going off to Johns Hopkins in the fall for a master's in nursing program. So Nicole.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Binkley. My name is Nicole McInerney, and this last year I was a healthcare ethics intern. This internship has taught me a lot about the responsibility of health professionals in alleviating the suffering and vulnerability of patients. I was thinking back to before I started this program, and I realized that I was somewhat naive in my perception of what medical care consisted of. I thought that with every diagnosis, there'd usually be a somewhat clear solution or a somewhat clear procedure to follow. But it wasn't until this class that I realized the complexities, nuances, and moral dilemmas that health professionals have to navigate every day. In many cases, there's actually no perfect answer, but there usually is a decision that best serves and respects a patient and their rights. Throughout this internship, Dr. Binkley brought in a diverse group of patients, providers, and families that all shared their experiences of either receiving or providing medical care. Every guest that we spoke to was really honest, and their sincerity gave me a lot of insight into the vulnerability of patients and the power that providers hold. One clear memory I think I'll carry with me for the rest of my life was when a disability ethicist from Georgetown made us ask ourselves what normal health looks like and what it means. He made us think about our own inherent biases and assumptions about qualities of life, and this reflection made me realize the humility that's necessary in medicine. I imagine that throughout graduate school, I would have eventually learned the importance of balancing and optimizing principles of bioethics, but it was with the help of this internship that I've learned the value in listening and respecting the individuals that we're supposed to care for, despite our own beliefs. All the interns and I are really grateful for this experience, and I imagine it will help us a lot as we enter the field of healthcare. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joel Dibble, and along with my colleague Debbie Dembecki, I manage the communications function at the Markkula Center for Applied Ethics. And I'm here today to introduce you to and talk a little bit about the Marketing and Communications Internship Program, a new program we started in the past year. And I really believe it's appropriate that the Marketing and Communications internship is mentioned after the other programs you've seen today, because really the focus of this group is to help us shine a light on the rest of the great work done by the Ethics Center. So our talented group of 4 student interns brought their experience in social media, graphic design, writing, and content management to help us deliver all of the valuable materials and resources created by the Ethics Center every day. And we'd like to think they gained some valuable experience along the way. So one of our most talented students this past year was Sahali Greenwood. Sahali's background, and certainly her future, is in journalism. So not surprisingly, she produced content for everything from our annual report to our website and newsletters. So with that, I'd like to congratulate and reintroduce Sahali Greenwood.
Thanks, Joel. So working at the Markkula Center this year has been a blessing, and not just because COVID shut down my program interning at the SCU magazine. One of my first assignments here was covering the Ethics Bowl. And this was a great introduction to the Markkula Center because I was quickly caught up to speed on ethical process of thought, decision-making skills, and debating strategies. Writing center news stories for the student programs like the healthcare internship was super fun and enriching because I got to feel like a real pro interviewing people like Dr. Binkley, who are regularly interviewed by all the major news outlets. Covering the Markkula event that hosted Anita Kumar, Dee Dee Myers, and Bill Plant was definitely my favorite assignment. As a double major in journalism and political science, I finally got to write a political article. Crazy that it took me 4 years to get around to it. But beyond the portfolio padding, this job has taught me holistic Marcom strategies that make me a well-rounded journalist. Not only am I writing my own stories, but our whole team would work together, teaching us how to build web pages, design graphics, and do social posting. Now I can build a website, write an article, and promote it myself. But everything is still better with a team. So thank you so much to Joel and Debbie for your guidance and support, and Katie and Catherine, my teammates as well. I always enjoyed our meetings, and I hope we all keep in touch in the future. Thank you.
What an amazing group of students, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. But you see why the staff at Markkula Center are so excited to come to work, to be able to work with these incredibly talented students. And it also, in a year of sometimes what was felt like despair, this certainly gives me hope for the future with these great students. And we really want them all to stay in touch with us and let us know the great things they're doing moving forward. I'm now joined by a really good friend of the center, Christie Markkula Bowers. She's a longtime advisory board member and member of the Markkula family, and she's going to present the Markkula Prize, which is awarded annually to an outstanding graduating senior who's distinguished themselves with their commitment and achievement in applied ethics. Christie?
Thank you, everyone. I am always so impressed by the work of our students at Santa Clara. You are all rock stars. But today I'm here to present the Markkula Prize. And drum roll, this year's Markkula Prize is awarded to Hackworth Fellow Alexandra George. Clap, 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 clap. She's a double major in philosophy and political science. She was a Hackworth Fellow this year, and her project focused on the policy of compassionate release for prisoners with extraordinary or compelling circumstances, such as a severe medical condition or family challenges. She applied ethical lenses from around the world, including Indian and Tibetan Buddhism, the Chinese philosopher Mencius, as well as Aristotle, a personal favorite of mine. She concluded that although compassionate release is strongly supported by all of these philosophies and policies exist within the US to allow for compassionate release, it's very rarely granted. So my congratulations to you, Alexandra. I can't see you, but congratulations on being the recipient of the 2021 Markkula Prize.
Great job. Thank you, Christie, and congratulations, Alex, for this great honor. That concludes our ceremony today. We really want to thank you all for taking the time to join us. And we want to thank again all our loyal supporters for making these really transformational opportunities possible by supporting these future ethical leaders. And thanks to all the staff and hard work you've put in this year. And thanks to our communications team for making this event possible today. Again, thanks for joining us. If you want to know more about the center, just ping us or look up Markkula Center online on Google and you'll find our website. We've always got something new and exciting going on. Thanks so much.